Come on down to the kitchen, get yourself in the mood. 'Cause when Britt gets to cooking, you're in for some good food. Yeah! Whee! Woo! That was a fun trip for the pumpkin patch. And there's already pumpkins here. Alright, cool. Someone could have told me that before I made that whole trip, but okay. Hello, Peaches. Welcome to my kitchen. And thank you for joining me in my first ever pumpkin carving adventure. At least here on OFTV. For your pumpkin carving, you're going to need your pumpkin, of course, some carving tools. They do sell pumpkin carving kits at the store, but I'm just going to be using my favorite little knives here. Got a couple different sizes. You're going to need a scoop to get all the innards out. I'm using an ice cream scoop, but I also have a little spoon on hand because, well, this thing, I don't have a lot of faith in it, so we're just in case. You'll also likely need a Sharpie or some other permanent marker to draw your design on. It'll help your designs come out super clean and pretty. And toothpicks in case anything needs suspended. We'll get to that in a minute. Ugly, you look so cute. You're like I carved a little puppy out of a bigger puppy. And you're just so cute. You're cuter than any pumpkin carving I could ever make. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Oh, you gotta look at him. Look at him. Look how cute he is. He's a little pumpkin. He's too small for normal dog clothes. This is literally made for a gerbil. Oh, Oakley, are you so excited to carve a pumpkin with me? No, wait, where are you going? Come back. Come back. No, you're a pumpkin. You gotta help me out, buddy. You gotta help me out. We have the puppy pouch just in case. So your first thing you're going to do for your pumpkin carving is pick out the perfect pumpkin. You want a good-sized, sturdy pumpkin that's just going to scream Halloween, right? And then you take a look at that pumpkin and visualize the design inside. My pumpkin's telling me I've been on OF for 3 years now. Woo! So we're going to do the new OF design onto the pumpkin. Keep that here for reference. There we go. Come on, Oakley. You gotta help me do the design. I'm gonna try and put it on this broad side of the pumpkin. That'll be the easiest to carve and just look the nicest. Hey baby, you ready? So I don't have a stencil. Stencils are available or you can print one out, but I'm just gonna freehand this one. Now it's time to do our design. So what you're going to do here is start with an outline of... What do you mean I shouldn't use a permanent marker? Water soluble like a Crayola? I don't have a freaking... So you're going to take your water soluble marker and start with the outline of your design. Any details or other little bits can go on after. Now if you were using a permanent marker and make some mistakes, the abrasive side of a sponge will take care of it just fine, but you probably just want to go with water soluble because it'll come off so much easier and way cleaner. There we go, just slow and steady. Little old school trick from my art teacher. So if you keep your wrist stiff and just move your arm as you draw, your lines will come out so much cleaner. Yeah, I'm doing better on this design, Oakley. Sweet boy. Beautiful. So for the O in this OF, I am making it a bit bigger because what I'm going to need to do is cut this out and then stick a toothpick in it in one end and stick the other into the whole pumpkin so that it can be nice and suspended. But you don't want to make it too big because then the sides here will be too thin and you'll get major breakage. And voila! So we start carving the design, right? Wrong! Before we get into the super fun, happy time of the decorating, the carving, the face carving. Before we get into the super happy fun time of carving out the face, first we must carve out the insides. I've got myself a serrated knife here, and I'm going to go at the top here. I'm going to go minimum, you want at least an inch. I'm going to try to go more for like 1.5 inches from the design at a 45-degree angle, because when you pop the top off, you want to be able to pop it right back on. Whether you're using your store-bought kit or your good old-fashioned serrated kitchen knives, be so careful when doing this. Be sure to, like I almost just did, cut away from you and just kind of do your best. And you want to take a sawing motion. It might take a minute to get it started. And I'll admit, this part has never been my strong suit. But if you just saw at it a little bit at a time, you'll have a nice little pumpkin lid at the end of this. If the cut starts getting a little away from you, it's so easy to just redirect it. It's your pumpkin. Do with it what you will. If you got a puppy sidekick like I do, maybe keep them away from this part. Pumpkin guts are about to go everywhere. Oh yeah. And it should lift beautifully like that. Now you see why I do the 45-degree angle. You see how that's nice and angled. Like I said, it's just gonna plop right back in. I don't know why I like to start like this, but I like to just take my knife here and cut the guts right off the lid right there. Make it nice and smooth. Trying very hard not to touch the sides too much because then your lid's just gonna fall in and you're gonna ruin your whole work. You want an enclosed pumpkin so that the open face on the side shines even brighter. Put that off to the side and make sure you have a bowl to the side for your pumpkin guts because you don't want to throw them away. You want to put them to the side. The pumpkin innards you can use for so many things like fried pumpkin seeds, baked pumpkin seeds. You can make a fresh pumpkin pie. Or if you get real creative, you can use it as a prop for your pumpkin design. I don't really need it for this purpose, but I've seen some pretty creative pumpkins out there. I'm going to take my little scoop. So you're just going to want to really go at it on the inside here and scrape the sides. Now, some will come off on your scoop, whether you're using this kind of scoop or some other type of scoop. But I've found in my years of experience in pumpkin carving, basically you just want to scrape the sides and pull everything out by hand. And just like with your pumpkin lid, try to avoid these sides as much as you can. If you have to, change to a more solid spoon. Or again, with that pumpkin carving kit, it comes with a specialized scoop with the serrated edges. So keep going at it until the sides of the pumpkin are clean and as smooth as you can get them. Part of this I am going to have to do top down, so just so I can actually see. I'm going to use a spoon bucket.
To negate that particular scoop.
It worked for the beginning, but you get into the finer details of it.
I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
Hmm?
Just leave it here. Keep on.
Okay. When you get to the bottom of the pumpkin, try and make that as flat as possible. That's where your little tea light candle's gonna go. Oh yeah! Talk about getting in these guts. No, nobody liked that one? Oh, okay. But for a bigger pumpkin like this one, you probably want to go with a votive, which is just a slightly taller kind of candle. Some detail work with the knife, but again, being very, very selective and careful about it. Inside here, there's a lot of shedding. That is normal. It's a gourd. There's not much you can do about that. But if you can get that front as smooth as possible, it'll make your design look a lot cleaner when you carve it out. If you really want to get into some fine details, don't be afraid to get in there with your nails. Your nails are plenty strong enough for the inside walls of a pumpkin. But maybe don't use your nails to carve the design on the outside. That will be a long and likely painful process. Oh yeah. Now we're really scraping the inside of these. Okay, fine. I'll stop. Jesus. Everyone's a critic. Now, the moment of truth. The carving of the design. Gonna take our same serrated knife, pray to the pumpkin gods, and very, very carefully, while simultaneously praying to the deities of Halloween, carve our design. Again, be very careful. If you're starting at an edge here, you want to start a little away from it because you'll see as the knife goes out, it'll meet that corner as it goes. Or just be very careful and don't go all the way through right away. Let's do the circle first. Now, if you can, you want to cut slightly outside of your design, but if you don't, that's why we use a water-soluble marker. So we can clean it off before the final display. Big brain moves this Halloween. This one I'm being a lot more careful, using less of a sawing motion and just a stab and repeat motion. Your hands out of the way of the blade. And if you did it right, it should just pop out, like so. There's another one you want to clean the back of. For this part, the degree at which you cut is less important because while we can just pop it back in, that defeats the purpose and this whole area is going to be gone in a minute. There we go. Just want to make it clean. Put your little floating O off to the side. And we're going to carve out the rest of the design. Again, cutting away from you wherever possible. For longer lines, you can go back to the saw motion. Nice thing about cutting it in parts like this is you can reinsert your knife and get it the way you want it and follow that line. Well, we're getting to a corner here, so I'm going to go in the opposite direction and make the lines meet as much as I can. Now once it's in there, it is difficult to change the direction, so that's if you want to get precise with your lines, or again, like you don't like the direction the cut is going, you can just pull it out slightly, and then tilt it, and then start sawing. It'll kind of redirect a bit. And for designs like these ones, you do want to, as much as you can, go for more of a straight angle. And that is something else you can fix once everything's done. In terms of rectifying mistakes, it is better to go slightly more inward of the design than outward, because as always, you can always take away more. You cannot add more pumpkin once it's cut off. Keep your palm flat on the pumpkin wherever possible so you don't, hurt yourself with the knife. We're almost there. Ah! It popped right out. Let's go. All right, let's pop it. See if it'll pop the rest of the way. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Okay. Nice. A little O off to the side. I don't know what I'm going to do with this part yet, but I might do something. Okay, here you can see it's pretty messy because it's all the guts that I missed. So I'll take the knife and just kind of go around the edges here and cut them off. Just be very careful as you go. You don't want to cut yourself and you don't want to break your design. See, this is kind of flimsy right here. That's why you want this thicker. Lid test. Like a glove. Okay, now I'm going to clean up the face a little bit, get any residual marker off of there, and then the moment of truth, making the O in OF. Okay, if you're cleaning up afterwards, like this, don't scrub too hard, because by this point the pumpkin is obviously hollow, therefore a bit more flimsy. If you want to, you can also just cut around the sides here to make sure everything looks good. Oh, that's going to be cute. So smoother edge knives are going to be your friend for detail work. So you can just kind of scrapey scrape. Might have to use 2 toothpicks. I might take 2 at a certain angle. And yeah, just try to make it look real nice and OFy. So I think I'm going to start by putting one end directly in the pumpkin. And then sticking the other right there, and then sticking it directly on there. Okay, definitely going to use a second toothpick for stability, because otherwise that's just going to fall right over. Might even use a third, we'll see. If you want to stick it in the O first and then put it in the base, that's fine. Just whatever makes your pumpkin OF ready. Right. Now this OF pumpkin is ready AF. Ta-da! Ooh, spooky. I'm definitely gonna want a bigger candle. And that'll do it for this season's pumpkin carving. Or is it? Should I carve more pumpkins? What designs are you going to put into yours? And what more should I put into mine? One pumpkin carved does not one stoop make. Let me know on all my socials. I can be found on Instagram, Twitch, Twitter. I'm everywhere, on everything. Let me know. And be sure to subscribe if you hate ads. Tell all your friends. And of course, until next time, thank you so much for watching. Happy spooky season and stay peachy. Bye! Come here. Alright, move the camera over a little bit.
You center.
Come here, Oakley. Come here, Oakley. Come here.